Hi, I'm Mike Tenney, host of Pop Culture Catechism for Awaken Catholic, and this is Awaken the Word, a reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. The Jews then disputed among themselves, saying, "How can this man give us his flesh to eat?" So Jesus said to them, "Very truly, I tell you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood have eternal life, and I will raise them up on the last day. For my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood abide in me, and I in them. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so whoever eats me will live because of me. This is the bread that came down from heaven, not like that which your ancestors ate, and they died, but the one who eats this bread will live forever." He said these things while he was teaching in the synagogue at Capernaum. We continue today with Jesus' famous bread of life discourse from John chapter 6. Now, Jesus really doubles down on the idea of the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, in the bread and the wine at Mass. Some strange, mysterious way, they really do become Jesus's risen flesh and blood, soul and divinity. And what's really interesting here is if you compare this passage to other dialogues that Jesus has in the Gospel of John, just a few chapters before this, in John chapter 3, he's talking with Nicodemus, who's a Pharisee, and he says that you must be born again. And Nicodemus says, what do you mean? I have to go back into my mother's womb and be born again? And Jesus says, no, you must be born of water and of spirit. He directs him to baptism. And he says, well, this is what I mean when I say I'm being born again. The same thing happens here. And they ask him, what do you mean you're going to give us your flesh to eat? And Jesus is like, yeah, my flesh is true food and my blood is true drink. He doesn't say, oh yeah, it's a metaphor. This is what I'm really talking about. He's like, nah, you got to eat me. Literally. In fact, the word in Greek for eat is like to chew or to gnaw, like you would talk about like an animal gnawing its food. He's doubling down and saying, no, really? I'm telling you something really true here. I'm not speaking in metaphors. And so for us who are believers and really want to take this seriously, when we go to Mass, especially on Sunday, how much are we really putting ourselves and laying ourselves before the altar and engaging fully in full participation in the Eucharist? And I'm kind of preaching to the choir here because you're listening to a reflection on the daily readings, but maybe we could take a next step and maybe one day a week or a few days a week, go to daily Mass and increase that Eucharistic devotion within us. I have been Mike Tenney, and this has been Awaken the Word.
Thank you for tuning in to Awaken the Word. Awaken the Word is made in partnership by Spoke Street Media and Awaken Catholic.